Listen, I want you to think about something for a second. What does it take to step into a locked cage under the brightest lights in the world with millions of people watching and another human being across from you whose only mission is to break you? That's not just fighting. That's not just sport. That's the UFC mindset. And here's the thing. The UFC mindset isn't only about fighters. It's about life. It's about the way you approach struggle, fear, discipline, and the pursuit of greatness. Because the Octagon, man, that cage, it's a mirror for the human condition. It shows who prepared, it shows who believed, it shows who's willing to suffer and who's not. And that mindset, you can take it and apply it to everything you do. See, the UFC is more than fights. It's philosophy. It's a way of life. I it all the time. Martial arts is the greatest vehicle for developing human potential because it strips away all the excuses, all the lies, all the fluff. You either did the work or you didn't. And when the door shuts, the truth comes out. That's the UFC mindset. It's about being honest with yourself, brutally honest. It's about showing up every day. When your body hurts, when your mind tells you to quit, when you'd rather stay comfortable and choosing to fight anyway. Think about what fighters put themselves through. The training camps, the cuts, the injuries, the mental warfare. You don't survive that without a mindset that's built on steel. You don't survive that without obsession. And that's what the UFC mindset really is. It's obsession with growth, obsession with discipline, obsession with being better today than you were yesterday. And you don't need to wear gloves to live like that. You don't need an octagon. Your cage is your life. Your cage is your job, your struggles, your fears, your doubts. The UFC mindset is about stepping into that cage every day, knowing you're going to take hits, knowing it's going to hurt, and doing it anyway. Because here's the truth. Life is a fight. You're fighting comfort, laziness, fear, self-doubt, distractions. Most people tap out without ever realizing it. They live safe, soft lives because they don't want to risk losing. But the UFC mindset, it doesn't allow that. It demands risk, it demands courage, it demands that you put yourself on the line. Look at the legends, Anderson Silva, Georges St-Pierre, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Amanda Nunes. Every one of them carried that mindset. They weren't just fighters, they were thinkers. They understood that greatness doesn't come from talent alone, it comes from hunger, it comes from sacrifice, it comes from discipline so strict that most people can't even comprehend it. Khabib said it best. To be the best, you have to be hungry. And hunger isn't about food. Hunger is about drive. Hunger is about waking up every morning with a mission. It's about saying, I refuse to be average. I refuse to settle. That's UFC mindset. But let me tell you this, mindset is not comfortable. It's not easy. People love to romanticize fighting. They see the walkouts, the knockouts, the belts, but they don't see the grind. They don't see the 5 a.m. runs, the endless sparring, the broken bones, the sacrifices. And that's the lesson. The UFC mindset is forged in suffering. It's built in the dark when no one's watching. And here's the beauty, when you adopt that mindset in your own life, you become unstoppable. Because most people quit the moment things get hard. Most people choose comfort over growth. Most people tap out. But if you're willing to keep fighting, if you're willing to embrace suffering, you'll win in ways you can't even imagine. The person who puts in the work, the person who can push through suffering, that person is unstoppable. And that's it. That's the whole game. Unstoppable doesn't mean you never lose. Every fighter loses. Unstoppable means you refuse to stay down. It means you evolve. It means you get back up, smarter, tougher, hungrier. That's what makes the UFC different. That's what makes it beautiful. It's not about perfection, it's about resilience. It's about the willingness to face fear, to face failure, to face pain, and to keep moving forward. That's the UFC mindset. And let's be real here. This isn't just about fighting in a cage. This is about your life. You have your own octagon, you have your own battles. Maybe it's school, maybe it's your career, maybe it's your health, maybe it's your own mind. Whatever it is, you need that UFC mindset to conquer it. You need to prepare like a fighter. You need to train your discipline like it's a muscle. You need to starve your excuses and feed your hunger. You need to stop worrying about what other people are doing and lock in on your mission. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. That's not just Conor McGregor talking trash. That's reality. Because When you live with the UFC mindset, you don't have time for distractions. You don't have time for self-pity. You don't have time to play small. You're locked in. You're obsessed. You're willing to pay the price for greatness. And yeah, it's going to hurt. Yeah, you're going to fail sometimes. Yeah, you're going to want to quit. But that's when you remind yourself, pain is the path. Discipline is the path. That's the UFC mindset. So I want you to think about this. If life locked you in a cage right now, how would you respond? Would you curl up? Would you tap out? Or would you fight? Would you summon that inner beast, that inner champion, and refuse to quit? Because that's the difference between living a small life and living a legendary one. The UFC mindset is not about violence. It's about self-mastery. It's about becoming the kind of person who cannot be broken. It's about standing tall in the chaos of life and saying, come at me, I'm ready. That's why I love the UFC, because it's not just sport, it's truth. It's the rawest, most honest test of human willpower there is. And when you see it, when you feel it, you realize that's the way you're supposed to live your life. With courage, with hunger, with discipline, with fight. So adopt it, live it, become it, live with the UFC mindset, and I promise you nothing, and I mean nothing, will ever stop you.